Hello everyone. Today we discuss about the topic Class 8 Chapter 7 Weavers, Ironsmelters and Factory Owners. The story of crafts and industries in India. The first topic is focus on two industries. This lesson completely speaks only two industries. They are iron and steel industry and cotton textile industry. The mechanized production of British in cotton textile industry made foremost industrial nation in world during 19th century. The growth of iron and steel industry began in 1850s. So during the period of Great Revolt, British came to be known as workshop of the world. Later, in 18th century, Indian commodities exported to Europe and England by British. So the next topic is role of Indian textiles in world market. During 1750s, India is the world's largest cotton textile producer. It is famous for fine quality and craftsmanship. Especially they are traded in Southeast Asia. The most famous places are Java, Sumatra and Penang. And they also exported to West India, West Asia and Central Asia. From 16th century, European trading company began buying Indian textiles for sale in Europe to make some huge profits. In the European traders first encountered fine cotton cloth from India carried by Arab merchants in Mosul in present day Iran. Mosul is a place is presented in present day Iran. They began referring to all finely woven textiles as muslin because muslin is a word meaning white currency. Portuguese came to India in search of spices, so they see cotton textile profits and they began to start cotton textile exports to Europe. They named the fine cloths as calico because they first landed in India as the place called Kerala coast in southwest India. So the next topic is pieces ordered in bulk. They are called chindans. Chindans is a chindans is a word derived from Hindi called flowery designs. This was mostly worn by rich people like Queen of Europe. This is an Indian fabric. Then the next design is bandana. Bandana is a word derived from Hindi called dyeing and tying. It is a design called brightly colored designs. Then these place of origin is Kaziam Bazar, Patna, Orissa and Charpuri. Indian textiles in European markets. So, in 1720, an act was passed by British called Calico Act because the usage of printed cotton textiles as chindans and bandana in England, so they ban Indian fabric in European market. This was done by British. So the Europeans imitated Indian designs on white muslin. In 1764, John Kay discovered a machine called spinning jency to increase the productivity of trading spindles and traditional spindles. So in 1786, Richard Arkwright is a person who brought revolution in cotton textile weaving because he introduced steam engine in India. and Dutch, French and English made enormous profit by purchasing cotton by importing silver into India. So there are few places for cotton textile production in India. They are particularly 4 places. The places are Bengal, Dhaka. This is now in Bangladesh. This is famous for Mulmul and Jamdani weaving, Coromandel Coast and Gujarat. There is a separate communities for textile weaving. They are Tandi weavers of Bengal. They are particularly in Bengal. Julahar or Moomin weavers of North India. Kaikollar, Devajas of South India. These persons are particularly in certain places, certain particular places. There is a stages for cotton textile weaving. The first stage is spinning. This was mostly done by women by the instruments called charka and takli. After the spinning was over, thread was woven into cloth by weaver. The weaver are mostly men. For colored textiles, the thread was dyed by dyer called rangres. This process is called rangres. For printed cloth, the weavers needed specialist block printers known as chickpigars. The specialized person for printed cloth designs is called chickpigars. So after that, there is a huge decline in cotton textile industry. Development of cotton textile industry in British affects India because British started and cotton textile industries in England. So Indian weavers wrote petition to government to help them. But in 1830s, British cloth occupied Indian markets. Thousands of people became jobless, but handloom didn't die in India. Handloom became popular in some places like Cholapur in West India and Madura in South India. Later during Indian national movement, Mahatma Gandhi urged the people to neglect imported textiles from British and began to use hand spin and hand woven cloth. So it created the development of Khadi. So Khadi gradually becomes the symbol of nationalism. Chakra came to represent India. It was put at the center of tricolor flag of Indian National Congress. It was adopted in 1931. So cotton mills comes up. After the decline, there is before the decline of cotton textile in India, there is also an industry that set up in Bombay in 1854. The first cotton textile industry was set up in 1854 in Bombay. So it had grown important center for export of raw cotton to England and China because it is the place which is close to black soil. So cotton was grown only in black soil. So Bombay became popular for its exports during that period. So later in 1861, the second cotton mill was set up. A year later in Kanpur, and in 1900, 84 mills was set up in Bombay by businessmen. This was established by Parsi businessmen and Gujarati businessmen. Thousands of laborers went to work for mills. So the next is introduction of iron and steel industry. Now we completely know about cotton textile industry. Now we begin iron and steel industry. So there was a king called Tipu Sultan in Coromandel Coast region. he used wood's steel to kill his enemies. He is known as Tiger of Mysore because he killed tiger by his sword. The fine qualities of wood's sword are: it contains high carbon steel, incredibly hard and sharp edge, easily rip opponent's armor. This quality comes from special type of high carbon steel called woods. The high carbon steel is woods. Woods means anglicised version of Kannada called ukku. In Andhra they are called hukku. Tamil and Malayalam they are called urukku. The meaning are steel. The next topic is Indian woods. Indian woods fascinated European scientists, so Michael Faraday is a person who is legendary scientist. He is a discoverer of electricity and electromagnetism. Studied Indian woods for nearly 4 years during 1818 to 1822. He studied whole properties of Indian woods. This was completely died in mid-19th century by import of swords and armors from British. In 19th century, by the impact of forest loss, many gave up their crafts because they didn't collect charcoal, wood, iron ore, etc. from forest. In some areas, they had to pay huge taxes to the government to collect charcoals from forest. So they gave up their crafts. So the next topic is setup of iron and steel industry. The year 1904, Darabji Tata and Charles Wilde. Charles Wilde was the friend of Darabji Tata, an American geologist, were traveling to Chhattisgarh in search of iron ore deposits in Chhattisgarh. So they began searching for iron ore deposits an year, but they didn't collect none. So with the help of Arabis community people, they found an finest ores in Rajgara Hills. Rajgara Hill had one of the finest ores in the world. So after that, with the help of Arabis, Jamsetji Tata started a big iron and steel industry in India without identifying source of iron ore in that place. After few years, Aragis again helped them to set up the factory near the banks of river Sabarnatika in Jamshedpur. Jamshedpur is the place the iron and steel company was first established in 1912. The name for iron and steel industry is Tata Iron and Steel Industry. This is known as an acronym TISCO. So during that period, British laid in railways in India to export and import the commodities. So Indian Railways turned to TISCO for supply of rail tracks. In 1919, Colonial government had to buy 90% of steel manufactured only by TISCO. So likewise, Tata Iron and Steel Company began to grow. It is the family of Tata Group. Thank you.